nonsense. There's never been a threat Squad couldn't handle. It is the purpose of the Squad to align our infamous forces against the powers of good and defeat them, leaving us, the rulers of the world.
Yes. Well, Kickin and PC, we are back here on my commercial break here. We have been really chopping it up with my man, Nathan Ivey of the Nathan Ivey Show. Heard
yes, sir.
7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or found on NathanIvey.com. Also found on XSquadAffiliates.com. So, man, if y'all been tuning in, and if you're just tuning in, it's been a awesome conversation. Be sure to start this thing back over and pick up what you didn't get to hear. But this man is a wealth of knowledge. He brings a lot of veteran experience to the game. He's a professional radio host with over 20 years of experience. And my man Nathan Ivey is building a big movement. He's starting it in Cincinnati. He's going to keep breaking it out all across the nation. And we're going to try to help him with that.
Oh, yeah, I love the internet, man. I love the power of the internet. I love it. It's a level playing field. Because what people have to understand after working in terrestrial radio, and I worked for Radio 1 for 12 years, is that they're pushing what they do toward the internet. And so that means that talent is king. If you got the talent and you can attract people, then you can put yourself on a level where you might be able to compete with what some of the big media conglomerates are doing. So that's what I'm attempting to do. That's what, matter of fact, strike that. That's what I'm doing right now in the city of Cincinnati.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, you got a movement, and we had a guy here, and he was actually broadcast nationwide, so you know Warren Ballantyne. But
oh yeah, I used to listen to Warren.
Yeah, Warren, man. I mean, he had a very nice movement going, nationwide, syndicated, and
yeah,
you know, after not hearing Warren time, it's been a void, man. It's been a void across the country to hear a high quality talk radio show like that, you know. And I believe with the void of him, you know, leaving the game, I believe that's right, exactly where you'll fit right in and take that same thing and beyond.
I'm here to Warren, man.
And beyond.
Yeah, I got nothing but respect for Warren. I know he has some issues. I don't know anything about it, so I won't speak on it. But
right.
I had nothing but respect for Warren. As a matter of fact, many years ago, the station that I was on, they were actually, I think he was affiliated with Radio 1, and somehow they were playing his show at night. So I used to listen to it just because he was another brother. He was doing his own thing. We were about the same age. And I always want to hear what I call it the competition, but I always want to hear what other people are doing and how they're doing it so I can sharpen my knives, so to speak. So, but I agree with it, man. I mean, more the merrier. It can't all just be from the big boys. And I have nothing but friends at Radio 1. I have nothing but respect for them. I wish everybody the best, but we need avenues, multiple avenues, I know in Cincinnati, where people can come together and have unfiltered conversations and challenge the conventional way of thinking and not feel like that their job is at risk or that they can't say this, can't say that. So that's why I'm loving it, man. I'm loving the freedoms that being on the internet is providing to me now.
Right. I can't jump into everybody's a whole lot of chat and comments and questions there, but one thing Daryl said was it's a lot of misconception about BLM. What the media doesn't show is that there's more white people in that movement than blacks.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you label something black, it's easy to marginalize it. It's easy to put it on the back burner, and it's easy to forget about it in America. It's always been that way. Like, whatever issues are not the issues of mainstream America are very easy to forget. I'll give you a quick example, the AIDS epidemic. That was a healthcare crisis. But when AIDS first hit in this country, it was looked at a gay disease. And that was back before gay was mainstream. So so that goes back to what I said. When it's not the mainstream, it's easy to forget it. So by showing primarily black people, then people can project what they want onto Black Lives Matter. They can make that movement be whatever they want it to be. When you have a lot of white people in the movement, again, I know because in the city of Cincinnati, I've been involved with a few of their marches and protests, then it becomes more nuanced and complex. Like, wait a minute, maybe we can't jump to some automatic conclusions about these people. Maybe they've got some merit now. So, Daryl is exactly right about that. Shout out to Daryl.
Right. Team and I. Yeah. Sluggo had a question that said, he wanted me to ask you, how often are talking points given to you on commercial terrestrial radio? And how often are you told what topics not to talk about?
Again, I was blessed. The program director, again, Jerry Tolliver, a trailblazer in talk radio. And I still believe that woman has not been given the respect that she properly deserves. And just the trust that I built. I didn't have those real conversations. I mean, when you work for people, you get a sense of who is important to them, and that's no matter what your walk of life. But I can honestly say that, during my morning show, I was never told not to talk about anything. And I think it's because I had built up the trust that they knew that I knew how to walk that line between profane and profound. I mean, because when you're working for some other people in a commercial endeavor, it's not just about you, it's about everybody. So I didn't have those conversations, as I was working at Radio 1. Again, I think it went back to the person who I reported to, the program director, and just the trust that they had in me, just kind of knowing who I was, knowing that I'm going to push the envelope, but I'm not going to push it to the point where we're going to deal with some liability. Now, having said that, I did have a few conversations. I remember a few years ago, I started using the Mr. Rogers thing. Remember that Mr. Rogers from, what was that, PBS or something? Remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yeah.
And that little melody. Eddie Murphy kind of did a spinoff of that on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
So I did something similar, and I started doing a commentary called Mr. Ivey's Neighborhood. And it was a satirical look at how, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was so perfect, our neighborhoods are imperfect. And I got a call from the program director and had some conversations with the big corporate lawyers about somebody in the audience had called the Mr. Rogers people and told them that we were using that jingle.
Wow.
And because of copyright infringement, we had to step away from it. But even in that conversation, the lawyers was like fans of the show. Like, man, I love your flow. I get what you're doing, but we just, it was a copyright thing. So I had those kind of conversations, but I never had a conversation. I never had a conversation about this, that, and the other. I'll tell you another story. I pushed the envelope, so I was challenging the black churches, and I started doing a bid call. And again, I don't mean to offend anybody, but this was the name of the bid. It was called "Who Put Jeezy on the Creasy?" And I was talking about Jesus Christ, and I was challenging the idea of the mega churches,
right,
and challenging their commitment to the black community. And a very sensitive bishop, pastor in Cincinnati got I didn't even know this person existed, KC. I didn't even know what his name was. And he came to the radio station, was so upset, and he's disrespecting Jesus, and we had a big meeting about it, and I still kept doing it. So, I had those kind of conversations, but never like, hey, don't talk about this person. But, if you're trying to, in any commercial endeavor, you don't want to piss off your advertisers and your sponsors. Even what I'm doing now, I've got people that are financially backing me. I don't want to turn them off. So, it's about being smart. But I was never told, hey, don't talk about Black Lives Matter or don't talk about Trump. I never had those conversations.
Right. Welcome back, Spicy. Let me ask you these questions. I'm gonna bring down because you always you're pretty heavy. You know what I'm saying? It's always because we got so much stuff going on, man. It's the mood is thick out here. You know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with a lot of stress, man. We're dealing with stress at work, stress at home, stress just out here in social media. It's just so much stuff and so heavy. So I said I'm gonna ask a couple things here that, you know, I don't know. Maybe some of your long time listeners may know, but I'm gonna ask you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna dig into a couple things more about you. Like, okay, what can we find? What do you do that people don't know you do? Like, what is your hidden? What is a hidden? I guess what do you say? Hobby or interest of yours that people don't even know that you do?
Yeah, it's funny, man. Well, I share the same hobby as a character on a show called, what's it called? A House of Cards. Frank Underwood is that. I love the video games, man. Xbox, that was my thing. That's how I unwind. Yep. But also, I meditate. Okay. And no smoke, no drink, and you know, just try to leave a clean lifestyle, that kind of thing. To look at me, it may not look at it, but because I got a few pounds more than I did 10, 15 years ago, but I try to be physically active every day and healthy. But that's my thing, meditation. I may step into the world of video games for an hour or two here just to unwind. Yeah. No, that's my kind of thing. And I like to read. I'm a voracious reader. I like to read. I want to know what's going on, and I like to have the answer. If I don't have the answer, I like to have my own opinion about the world. Now, I don't have to be right or wrong, but I like to have my own opinion.
Yeah, man. No hen dog on Iceman. No Hennessy on Iceman. No cognac.
No, man. I'm not saying I've never drank before. I'm not going to tell you that lie. No, of course I have, but nah, man, I'm just trying to have a clear mind because I know exactly where I want to go and where I want to be. I've got a good understanding of exactly what I need to do, and I need to have a real clear mind. But that's my thing, man. I like to meditate, read, be physically fit, Xbox Live, that's my thing. And do a little Madden sometime, maybe some first-person shooters, you know, to unwind every once in a while. Yeah.
My man, Chief Rocker, the number one Chief Rocker Jersey, Vern, said, Nate, I don't even do church no more. I do home church. I still have my Bible from back in 1972. And it's much different from today. The Bible, he listens to the radio from 6 to 12 every Sunday morning. There's a brother named Larry Tinsley who comes on V103 here. And he said he pretty much does this on his own. So that's what he's saying. Just a comment here. And Sluggo said, you know, that's why you're so sharp, because you're an avid reader. So.
Yeah, you got to stay up, man. And that developed back when my mother was an avid reader. So when you see your mother and you're reading for entertainment, then you're like, well, I want to read for entertainment, because kids kind of follow what their children do. I mean, kids kind of follow what their parents do. And then in college, man, I spent a lot of time in the library reading periodicals, Village Voice, The Progressive, The Nation, and reading all these different opinions. Like, wow, there's different ways of looking at things. Because until you step out there, if you're looking at the same and listening to the same media channel, you start to think that the world has a very tiny perspective, but it does not. The world is large. There's a lot of different opinions out there, and it doesn't mean that anybody's necessarily right or wrong. There's just different ways of looking at it, because people come from different avenues and walks of life. And in terms of religion, I'm much more of a spiritual person. Like, my wife is more go to church every Sunday kind of person. And I do see a value in going to church and being, when I'm in the mind for it, and being around like-minded people and getting that spirit and getting that positivity. But on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis, I'm much more of a spiritual person. I'd rather read the Bible and interpret it for myself than listen to somebody else's interpretation of the Bible. That's just me.
Oh boy, we got a nice war going on in here, folks. About the black church. Good. It's a sensitive topic, man. You know, some people say, what is the church doing besides barbecues and fish fries for the community? Somebody said that, and then somebody said, you know, go ask church what they're doing. There's a lot of churches out here who are not doing that. So, you know, it's back and forth. But I just said we taking it light.
Hey, man, listen, I'm upfront about it. The church that my wife attends, Corinthian Baptist, has been good to us, because there have been times where the church has helped us out monetarily. So you got to have respect for the people that respect you. You know, since I've been married, I ain't ashamed to say that, So I got nothing but respect for the people at that church and their pastor. Shout out to Casey Smith. He's a big supporter of mine because, I mean, you know, he's close to the family. I mean, they've actually been there for us.